Cut forward, any come our channel use social so I'm say I'll say a GH politics avenue. Political stories are training because make headlines. And the Jambra need to be exumo a wahanidium near Hombraximo, Mr. Say Moon Ryan Simon. Now after say plain equity a year Obuaseno Adansi Akuffo no plain biano a year na ye a year secret recorder a womb. And the ejano say intense say intimi enshi. Na information yagada IDB exomo enedwe and say experts by the kind courtesy of a year His Excellency John Dramani Mahama befly expert every amanoni amasa secret recording or metimi abo ahwe near the cause of a year aircraft crash no. At this point in time, I say, for a taxi, I yin some pensim, Mr. Say, room, any day.
It's a sad moment. It's a sad moment. But in the life of a pilot.
Hello, Commander.
Yes, I can hear you.
Absolutely.
It's very sad. It's a extremely very sad situation.
Indeed. So, Commander, what I have you to do in order for the conversation to be smooth is to turn down the volume on your television set so you listen to me in your handset.
Okay. All right, I hear
Wing Commander Sobojo retired. Worked in the Ghana Air Force for years. He says it's a really sad moment. But when things of this nature happens, what goes on in the back room of the Air Force?
It's TV3. Hello?
Yes, Wing Commander. I'm asking.
Yes.
I'm asking, when things of this nature occur, what goes on in the back room of the Air Force?
Well, the normal procedure is to find out what happened. You know, don't forget that airplanes fly and they fall down sometimes. Now, before they undertook this flight, and don't forget they've been doing these VIP flights for the government since the Air Force got helicopters. Okay? Now, a pilot will check around the helicopter, check the engine, everything before he takes off on assigned duty. And the pilots who are flying the airplanes are matured. Must have been flying this thing for about 9 to 10 years. Now, things can happen en route. It could be mechanical or it can be weather. So they took off from Accra and heading to Obuasi. They were almost there. When the helicopter gets into trouble, the only place is find a space to land. But when you are flying over forested areas with those tall trees, the helicopter can't hang in the air forever. It's the power which sustains the helicopter in the air. So if maybe a loss of power, the helicopter will start coming down. And if there's no place for you to land, you will land on the trees and you crash. And as to the passengers on board, the impact of the helicopter, I believe, must have sent them into comatose situation. That maybe they may not even experience the fire or anything on that sort because the impact is big. And if automobiles, I mean cars, can crash head on and burst into flames, then even the aeroplane having more fuel, it's aviation kerosene which we use.
Very well. So Wing Commander, based on what you have told us right now, seeing the impact of the aircraft, what are you able to glean as to how this may have happened?
Well, this is what I'm saying, that it could be a mechanical or weather because they are en route. They are en route to their destination. Okay? And if it is weather, the pilot will find somewhere to land. Weather can change, but if it's mechanical, engine or electrical failure, the helicopter has to come down. It cannot be in the air and call a mechanic to come and fix it. And if it's you know, once it's there, he must look for a clear area to land for rescue. But around that area, you are flying over a heavily forested area.
And you know, in getting to the bottom of this, there are many who have called for, let's know what was on the black box. What did the black box record? Does the Z9 military helicopter have a black box? How long would it take? How long would it take for us to start to know what may be on that black box?
Well, let me let you know. Black box is not something that you open and in seconds it tells you what happened. They have to fly in experts to come and decode what was recorded. The voice recorder, yes, you could, but the black box you can't just open it and it says A, B, C, or D. They have to bring experts to come and decode what is inside. What happened to the airplane? So maybe a couple of days for I don't think we have experts in the Ghana Air Force anywhere who can decode black boxes. So first thing, the manufacturer should be informed. And they're flying people to come and have a look at it. And also, yeah.
Right, go ahead.
I also heard people talking about maybe Galamsey people shooting. I can, on all experience, the kind of weapon they use to those sites cannot bring this helicopter down. Unless a missile.
We'll wait for the investigations into the incident. Tell us exactly what happened. But thank you so much for your insights, Wing Commander Patrick Sogbojo. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. We've just been talking to a retired Air Force officer, giving us an insight into what the situation could have been and what may even go on in the back end of the Air Force after an incident of this nature is taken. And Mawina, he talked about the black box as being a source of concern, so to speak, for the Ghanaian people, because they say when we know what the black box recorded, that we know why this went down. And that's really important given the backdrop that there's a lot of conspiracies starting to come up. And
a lot of people are saying different things.
Absolutely. We're going to have to get in front of the story one way or the other as to why such an incident of this magnitude happened and happened to our defense minister.
Absolutely. And like he mentioned, the expectation is that we will have experts begin to come in because the manufacturer will have to come in this case, because we might not have immediately experts who can help us unravel the circumstances surrounding what might have happened. But we'll seek to as well paint for you a picture as to what the flight path possibly could have been, because you heard Wing Commander speak to quite a number of facts based on what it is that he knows and his experience as well in relation to these matters. And so that's one of the many things on your screens, possibly the flight path from here in the capital, the Air Force Base, headed towards Obuasi, roughly around 183 kilometers. They took off at 9:12, which has been confirmed by the statement as issued by the Ghana Armed Forces. The estimated time of arrival, what we understand from sources, was 10:02. That's the time they were expected to have arrived. And we get confirmation, and one thing that has continued to come through is that there were concerns of visibility because of the bad nature of the weather as at the time this unfortunate incident happened. And from what we're learning of, and Wing Commander, which my colleague Kamini just spoke to as well, seeks to draw in on the geographical area of the crash site. There are quite some tall trees. And so just comparing from where the crash happened to the final destination, which is around Obuasi, roughly under 20 kilometers more for them to do before the unfortunate incident happened. And what we understand is that this had to do with the mountainous nature of the area, which may have caused this unfortunate incident to have happened. Because if we begin to paint a picture for you via Google Earth to look at the exact area, the Sikaman area, which is close to Obuasi, which they were headed to, it's a heavily dense forest. And like Ibrahim and the others confirmed to us they had to journey on foot for about an hour and 30 minutes. But here's a bit more of what we've been learning of the condolences which have been coming through over the last few hours. I'll just do this one, and then we'll connect with my colleague Christian Yale as well, because he's been touching base at the homes of these ministers of state who unfortunately have passed, and quite a number of people have been coming in and out. But this one from the president of the ECOWAS Commission, His Excellency Dr. Omar Aliu Toure, he says that it is with profound sorrow that we have received the tragic news of the helicopter crash in Ghana, which claimed the lives of several senior government officials, including the Minister of Defense, Edward Omane-Boamah, and the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. Christian Yale, like I mentioned, is stationed both homes. He's been crisscrossing there. Let's connect with him right now. Chris, exactly where are you? What can you tell us? And I know the mood will be so somber, but talk to us.
Eric, I'm currently at the residence of Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Just a while ago, members of the Majority Caucus came here in their numbers, led by the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Bernard Ahiafo. When they came here, the family received them and formally gave them the introduction, as it were, as to what has happened and how they are dealing with the situation here. And so that was done by the honorable member, one of the MPs who did that, Al-Hassan Sohini, I should say, after which the former finance minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, offered a Muslim prayer, and thereafter a little interaction was done. They were allowed to go inside to see the widow, the wife of the late MP. And so right now, just still some guests who are trooping into this residence to get first-hand information and to get an understanding of how things have been so far. But earlier, Eric, I can tell you that earlier we were at the residence of Dr. Omane-Boamah, and it's all pain, ruthless pain, if I should say, how people are trooping in and continue to show how saddened they are about this whole situation. And so that has been the situation so far. At Dr. Omane-Boamah's residence, we had delegation from the National Democratic Congress led by Education Minister Haruna Idrisu, who went there. We were not allowed entry. The direction is that there wouldn't be any media entry into the residence proper, and so you just pitch camp outside. Let me see if I'm able to get Honorable Al-Hassan Suyuni for just some few words. Just some few words, Honorable. Just some few words, please.
No, this is not honorable, and I'm not ready to talk now.
Okay, just some few. You wouldn't want to give us any. All right, that is fine. All right, that is fine. That is fine. So that is fine. So he wouldn't want to. He wouldn't want to say anything now. But just like you see around, the family is around. Eric, you know that there was an earlier indication that Honorable Murtala was to be buried today. That did not happen or was postponed. And in my earlier engagement with Collins Dauda, who is a Muslim stalwart himself, he tells me that per the Islamic tradition, when cases of this nature happen, it is allowed for them to hold on to the funeral rite, as it were, and as they do in per Islamic tradition. And so that is the situation. The understanding, and we are expecting that maybe sooner than later, the majority leader himself, Mahama Yaraga, might be here to come to mourn with a family and to also see what they can do. But per the family and per the information they have given us, they are in touch with government, they are in touch with the president and all those who matter to decide the funeral arrangement and even when they would embark on that and how the things would unfold. But let me try to see if I can still get some members of parliament, those who are still around, to get some information from them and how they have received this whole news, this tragedy that has dealt the country a very big blow, and how they are coping so far and how things have been so far. But even before that, let me see if I can briefly engage you. How did you receive the news and how are you coping with the sad situation?
And the situation is very sad for Ghana, because Murtala is a humble person who is advisable to Ghana, and is a former MP for my constituency, and I get a great loss into Ghana. And well, we are very sad. We can't talk anything about Murtala.
Do you relate to him?
Yes, and Murtala I have been a campaign manager to him informally 2012 to 2016. He even gave me one slot to my mother to attend a pilgrim of Hajj. And it is a painful when my mother received the story, and my mother has even been in hospital. So Murtala is very sad. We can't talk.
All right, Eric. So I'm still trying to get the MP for Ashaiman, Dr. Ernest Nogbe, who has been here for some time now, to also get his view and his thoughts. And I mean, he even shares some fond memories of Honorable Murtala Muhammad, and as well as Dr. Bawumia and the rest of them, and especially when it comes to the work that they do in Parliament. Earlier, an off-record conversation that I had with him, he spoke about the roles that he himself, together with Dr. Murtala Muhammad and a few other colleagues like Edward Bauer, played during the election of the current speaker, as well as even some judge, for instance. And so it means that he has a special relationship with him, and it means a lot to him to know that this has happened. And as it were, we know that yesterday in the night, the bodies or the remains of the 8 who tragically died were brought to Accra and have been sent to the morgue or the mortuary, after which we know that the right processes would follow. Some have been talking about the DNA test and the forensic test and all of those that will be done in order to identify who is who, because you know, from what we know. Okay, so I can now engage Dr. Ernest Nogbe, Member of Parliament for Ashaiman. Do you share any fondest memory of your late colleagues?
Well, it's just unfortunate that yesterday we had this tragic incident. Honorable Murtala was a very good man. He was my colleague in Parliament. We shared the same seat, almost the same seat in Parliament, because he comes before me. He was number 1 and I was number 2, or I am still number 2. So Honorable Murtala was such a gentleman, a guy with brilliance, a guy with intelligence. When he was debating on the floor of the House, you would see the forcefulness of his debate. You will see that he was debating with facts on the matter. Even though he creates certain humor, everybody loved him on the floor. I started my PhD with Murtala, Honorable Murtala. He graduated last year and I graduated this year. We were teasing each other. He was teasing me that I couldn't graduate on time. And I said, oh, it was unfortunate. But as we speak now, we lost my very good friend. Parliament would miss Honorable Murtala. Anything that happened in the 8th Parliament, the good or the bad, it was plotted by my good self, Murtala, and some few others. We did those plotting. And so when you hear that your very close friend, your bosom friend, went to the other side of the world, you would be shocked. You would be shattered. But God knows best. He gives and he takes. And we can only take solace in the fact that this world is not our home. It's a transit cortex, and we shall all go one day to account for our stewardship. Honorable Murtala, right. I can only share in the concern of the family and wish them well, that God knows best.
All right, we know God knows best. So I can see a number of dignitaries as well and some guests who are arriving at the residence of Dr. Ibrahim Murtala.
Right, Christian, still a bit more of the dignitaries arriving at the home of the Honorable Murtala Mohammed, I beg your pardon. Still quite difficult for all persons involved as they continue to share their fond memories of him, amongst many other things. There's a statement that's come through from the government as well in relation to this 3 days of mourning, starting a lot later at 1 p.m. Today. And we'll just try and read to you what the details of that statement from the government is on the planned activities for the next 3 days in relation to this activity. But also, we'll get on to Zoom pretty shortly and engage the Bureau of Public Safety as well, because they've made some quite interesting points in relation to all of the development as we've witnessed over the last few hours, and then bring you what we've been seeking to paint an incident report for you involving the military and their aircrafts, because like you heard Wing Commander speak to, there are quite a number of these questions and other things that demand answers even while.
And to weigh in some of the team course watching in some of the Saudi and Red, as an so bad in the Adumbi Adumini, on the Enshim, the Ensign Sumo or Question Cosopra.